Now we are traveling, and we're really excited because we are in Turin, Italy with Archivio Tipografico. And we're so excited that they have a tour planned for us. They've got a special project to show us, and they're going to show us some of their collections. So we're really excited because as I was getting the mini pre-tour, I heard they have 2,000 cases of type, which who wouldn't want to go and play on that playground? Is a really special place because they're an active and collaborative space, both for the preservation, the study, and the practice of typographic arts. They do digital type design as well as letterpress printing. So it's a really nice marriage of both looking at the historic past while also doing contemporary work. So it's a really nice connection to what we do here at Hamilton. And we're so excited to have this tour today. I will say that Alta Price helped connect us so that this could happen. So Alta, thank you so much. And Nella Russo, I'm going to introduce you now and I'll let you take over. Thank you so much for giving us a tour and showing us around today.
Hi. Okay. Thank you everybody for being here. It's a very pleasure and honor to be part of this Hamilton Hangout with all of you here. I was about to say this evening, but for you guys, it's still lunchtime or around that. And I would like to welcome to showing you our main store that belongs to quite famous print shop here in our city, in Torino. So we decided to have their door as a symbol to this print, honor it to see here in our collection. So with the door, we have a small entrance, and the useful thing about this space, it's our library, let's call it like this. Together with movable typefaces and printing presses, we have also a quite big collection of old books, old and rare books about typography, type specimen, type catalogs from different foundries, and also internationals. And yeah, a small parenthesis on Turin and our city. Not sure if all of you are aware that here in Torino used to be the city of Nebbiolo foundry. So one of the most, for sure, the most important Italian foundry, and one of the biggest and most important European one. So for us, being here is also a legacy to the typography world, and the print shop is basically built around this idea that Turin was basically a city devoted to the type design, the printing equipments, and all the typography culture. Can you hear me good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, sorry. We are having some delay on the video feedback, so we're not sure. Okay.
There is a little delay on the internet.
After this, we can.
Che mi sa che ci sono dei salti nella voce.
Okay. So basically, through these two first rooms, we are going into the print shop. And starting from this corridor, I can tell you that what you are going to see, it's like it started 20 years ago, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less 20 years ago, as a private collection, based on the idea of Emanuele Mesa, that is the founding partner of this structure, this space. He is a printing teacher. And so he worked a lot with companies and printing companies, especially for having students going to work in this company. And when print shop were completely moving
Wait,
from...
we've lost your video. Okay, so we have some technical difficulties, it seems. We didn't in our wonderful test, but let's see what's happening.
It looks like we lost them, so.
It does look like
as
we
soon
lost
as,
them.
But they did have to log back in before, so hopefully.
So we will pause. I'm so sorry. We did test. It was great. That's such is life on the internet, right? If this was a printing press, we would be set.
Here we go.
Here we are. Alta, thanks for being my right-hand lady today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. If only I could
Yeah.
fix the whole internet thing.
Right?
I would.
Okay, let's see if we can.
Ci siete?
Here we go. Sorry.
Here we go.
Bentornati. Welcome back.
We're back. Sorry.
Where did you lost us? At which point did you lost us?
Just as you were entering the hallway.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Oh, you were
Great.
mentioning Emanuele.
yeah.
Emanuele
Okay.
Mensa.
This place is based on an idea of Emanuele that is a printing teacher. So when we saw back like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that all print shop were moving completely from movable types to offset printing, he decided to take these things all together and make his own collection for his personal passion about this technology. And for the first 10 years, he was like, okay, I'm collecting, I'm putting stuff together. I don't know really what I'm going to do with that. And around 2011, 2012, myself and other guys that I will introduce you later joins this space, and we transform it like in a weekly different goals on our activities here. So we are both a collection, not really a museum, but just a collection of movable types and printing presses. But we are also a print shop, a commercial print shop. So we produce printing goods for other people, for other designers, for other clients. But we are also designers. So we arrive to the printing world as a designer. And that's why we also use this space as an environment to experiment design project and also to print them. And so it's really super cool to, as a designer, to have the control of the whole process from the designing point, from the idea to the final thing. And I will move a little bit while I'm talking. We don't have a lot of booth type. This is the only space in the print shop where we have some big booth letters. We are more specialized. Few of them.
Use the bigger typeface.
We are more specialized in LED typefaces, and we go very small typefaces, like 6 points, also something below that. And we have around 2,000 drawers. 60-70% of these drawers are from Nebbiolo Foundry, because of course the material we have here is from print shop that used to print with these materials in Turin and in this area, that used to buy fonts at the Nebbiolo Foundry. So we got these fonts here now, and this is the first space of the print shop.
And look, people are saying that we are very organized and clean.
Yeah. So you can see also some presses. All this area you can see here, the dark brown furniture and cabinets are from the Tipografico Marchisio. That it's the print shop that I mentioned you outside. So the glass door belongs to this print shop. And like a unique donation we had from this lady when she decided to close the business because she was not interested in printing or other technology, and being a family business since 3 generations, like we became the her nephews. And so she decided to donate us everything, and we still use these fonts for different projects. And we have 8, 9 presses. It depends on how you count them. We have a bunch of platen presses here. This is the oldest one, dates back to the beginning of the
20th century.
20th century, yes, 1910, 1905, yeah. It's a famous, huge platen press. Yeah, we are storing it. It was abandoned without storage, as maybe some of you already experienced this. This is a smaller platen press. Sorry. This is a smaller platen press that we use for business cards, wedding invitation, everything. It's a small size. It's a very, very precise machine. It's one of the machine that runs a lot here in print shop. Press. Heidelberg. We think that I mean, Italian fonts, Italian type design, it's a huge thing, but you have to know that the Nebbiolo Foundry and other Italian companies used to produce printing presses, but there's no way that they were nice and strong and reliable as a German press. And here there is the second space. 5 years ago, we got this space free, so we opened the door and doubled the space because we still get new fonts, new drawers, not presses. But yeah, the collection in fonts is still growing. Then we have 2 windmills over there, and another flatbed. Big one.
And the Vandercook, of course.
Yeah. We have a Vandercook, a small one, and then as a proof press, we also have a graphics. It's a Swiss.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that we are very clean and tidy. This is also because the space was opened by Emanuele, which is the guy that we were telling you before, and he's a teacher about printing technologies. So what he always, I mean, it's very different to learn from a teacher or from a person that printed as a printer. Maybe some of you know the difference, but teachers are very precise and
yeah, very clean,
and never
ordered.
never change the I don't know.
I think they have froze again, guys. And I really wanted to hear what they thought the difference between learning from teachers and printers were. Let's see. Can you hear us?
The appearance of the space is also very, very important.
Yeah. I will just introduce Davide. Sorry, he was trying to help me and talking, and he's one of the guys I was talking about before. So the in-house graphic and type design studio that is basically this desk with all our computers. So we specialize in, of course, design some stuff that we print in the print shop, but we also do other projects, and especially designing typefaces for brands and other companies or for special uses. So we use the background we have here from our collection, from Nebbiolo and from other foundries to reinterpret and design new typefaces that are based on the history that is behind us. Recently, I can say that we have done quite a big project on this size. Everything you are going to see with the branding in Marc Jacobs is a font designed by us. And also the next movie, no, I can't tell that. No, sorry. There is also a movie in the pipeline, but I'm not allowed to say that. But let's go back to the print stuff. Yeah, I would like also to introduce the other people that are here with me tonight. Gabriele, Matilde, it's here, and also Davide, another Davide. We call him Elka just because we have two Davides on the team. Me, Davide, and Gabriele are the small group. Are 4 of the 6 people that created what Archivio Tipografico is today, 10 years ago, more or less. Matilde joined us in helping in archiving stuff. Yeah, so she shared a lot last year to actually what is inside these drawers. And then Matilde is also part of the latest project we are working on also with Alta, that is here with us on Zoom. And first, and then we can show you this project that we are working on now. So we have done a lot of stuff, very different, but we thought that tonight what represent best us, it's posters basically, and some books. This poster was done by Emanuele when he was all alone before the print shop turned out like it is now, and it was basically his manifesto on what is Archivio Tipografico and the aim, he would say, and using some of the fonts in the collection.
She was showing mainly the collection of the fonts he was collecting. It's very funny because he started collecting mainly presses.
Yeah.
And then Enrico Tallone, which is a publisher you probably know, he said to Emanuele, yes, but you also need movable types to print, you don't need just presses. So he started collecting movable types and actually find a lot of interest in that. So this is the first poster he printed for the inauguration of the first print shop, showing mainly Italian typefaces produced by Nebbiolo, but not only.
Not only, yeah. And fun fact, our name, Archivio Tipografico, if you try to translate this in English, it's like a typographical archive. That it's also like a descriptive name, but it's also an homage to Nebbiolo Foundry, because Archivio Tipografico was the
in-house magazine.
In which they used to promote all new fonts and materials. Yeah.
And so then you can see the difference between the approach of Emanuele and then when he met us. So that this was, you can see that it's written Via Cesana. It was the first address of the print shop, and then we moved to the new place where we are in this moment. And this was it's a very similar approach. So we tried to make a manifesto. It's a very funny comparison. But yeah, here we tried as well to use the collection in a very, very free and funny way. So mixing all different typefaces or creating
using the ornaments as letters.
And this is a very nice sentence that we found, that it was really representing what we talked about our practice. So not to use the tradition just as an archive, but but much more as an active print shop, and as a design studio. And this again is something that we found interesting to show because it was a poster we printed for an exhibition about Francesco Griffo. Francesco Griffo was the first typeface designer that we can say invented the idea of the italic typeface. So this for us is very important. Also, I mean, mainly because we are type designer, but also because we are Italian. So we try. I don't know if you can perceive it from there, but it's an upright typeface, slanted, just diagonally. So we made a frame inside of another frame and used a specific mechanism to make it print and diagonal.
We the italic from regular.
Yes. And then, I mean, this is actually the last project we printed. It's a poster for Tipoteca because they just did their 25th anniversary.
Yeah, we were invited together with other 24 print shop and designers to print a poster for them.
And let me jump in and just say they're going to be on the next Hamilton Hang this Friday. So this is a nice little nod to your fellow Italian amazing type shop.
Yeah, so here, I mean, since it was the 25th anniversary, we played a bit with the number 25. So we created the 2 and the 5. And then we play the riga. It means 2 lines and 1 point. So since one line is 12 points, I mean, you can make some math, and then it's 24 plus 1 is 25. I mean, that's a bit nerdy, but
yeah, typo nerd.
And then we printed in very small size. This is also something that we like a lot to make. So to compare, we like nerdy here. Okay, that's good. We are in good company. And this is another very experimental project we did. I mean, this is very complex and long to be explained. It's part of a performance we organized. I mean, we try to keep this pace as young as possible, to not be too much nostalgic in this place, but to try to experiment with new communication language. And so also to try to involve new people in the legacy of letterpress, so try to create some interest also in young generation. So we try to make this sound performance with a friend of us that is a sound designer, and we printed this poster during the performance. So this friend of us recorded all the sound that presses around the print shop are doing when they're printing, and then
we used them as a sample to
compose
create some music, some piece of music. Five different songs for 5 different press.
Yeah. So we call this performance Sinfonia Meccanica, which in Italian means mechanical symphony. I think it works. Yep. And then we printed this poster saying "Una voce è solo un rumore familiare," which means a voice is just a familiar noise. And this is because we thought that our presses when are running are actually voices to us, so we can actually recognize just from the sound which press is working,
and if it's working nice,
and if it's working properly and okay. So this is very possible to compare the sound of the noise of the press to a voice of a friend.
And then there was involved this typeface that we designed in the studio, and it was a very particular one because during the night, the performance went...
actually someone is asking if we converted it as a variable font. So yes, it is. It is definitely a variable font. and also the futurism is a great connection to this
project.
project.
During the night, this font was projected all over our walls, and with the music, the font was reacting to.
Yeah, we were actually screening the typeface over there and over there, and it was moving. Trying to reacting to the sound.
Yeah,
it was.
You can look at online. You can find some music, and you can see some videos of the performance. And then in the end, we produced this book that it's basically the container for a music type cassette.
Yeah. So I mean, this is part of our friend music label. They're always producing music cassette. It's called Sovn Records. Here we have the. Thank you, David. Here we have the. You can see that is reacting to my voice while I'm speaking, and this is exactly the typeface that we have here on the poster. You know. So if I stay silent or very loud, and. Okay, and then going back to more classic, the more classical approach. These are specimens that we printed. I mean, printings? Wow. Okay, you lost me for a while. Printing specimen for us is a way also to study typefaces. This is a typeface that is called Triennale by Guido Modiano. For Fonderia Reggiani during the 30s. I mean, we can say it's pretty. It has an aesthetic that we can say that is fascist. But I mean, we obviously hate fascism, but we like this typeface. So say that. This is. Another poster we printed for to commemorate Alessandro Butti. Alessandro Butti is a person that we really like. It's very important for us because he was the teacher of Aldo Novarese. So he was the second art director of the Nebbiolo Foundry, of the art studio of the Nebbiolo Foundry, and he also created. We can say together with Giulio da Milano, or it was just by Giulio da Milano. Can't remember. By the way, Giulio da Milano was another art director. So we have Giulio da Milano, Alessandro Butti, and then Aldo Novarese. And you can see the approach in every one of them is very, very interesting to us. Nebbiolo was the only foundry in Italy having an art studio. So they were the only one producing typefaces produced by them. And this typeface, for example, to us is incredibly interesting because it's already a variable font before it was cool. So this is 6 point, then 8, and etc. until the 72, which is very, very condensed and stretched. You can see that it's almost the same width, but here we have a movable type. It was only 19. Oops, we lost focus. It was only in 1935 when they produced this typeface. And then you can see the other production. I mean, probably we can go quicker on those.
Yeah, we work a lot with international publisher like Taschen Books. I know you guys that are sensible to this theme, so I would like to show. We did a bunch of book with them, and we just printed the letterpress part for the text, not the pictures. And then everything was binded together. So all the texts are done in letterpress, of course, with plates, not with movable types, because we don't have so many typefaces to produce a whole book.
Yeah, also because
because it's an English text. Our drawers are based on Italian language, so we don't have a lot of H, X, W's, and this kind of stuff.
And also because when you collaborate with this kind of commercial publisher, we can say they have very This is a book by, sorry, they were asking for the title, by
This is a book that
James Baldwin and Steve Shapiro, and it's called The Fire Next Time. I think you're very familiar with this title. It's
a reprint of an old title with some of these features as shown for the first time, I think, and it's based in their collector's edition.
So we printed all the part of the start of the chapter and the text that Nello was showing you before.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, what we were saying is that since it is a very commercial publisher, we didn't have time to compose to typeset everything in lead type, because I mean, they have very different timing than movable types.
Yeah, and this is another book with linocuts and movable types.
This is a personal project, so a very different approach to the prior one.
Mm-hmm. It's about different stories about printers and engravers and type designers from
for example, here you can see, I mean, here, this is the art studio of Nebbiolo. And this is Enrico Tallone, the guy I was speaking to you before. He has a train in his garden where he has where he has the publishing house. And this is the Tipografia Marchisio, the one from this sign. And also this is the door that we have at the entrance. So this can very represent the legacy that that follows us.
And if I can jump in, you guys, I just want to clarify the title of that book, Tipi di Torino.
Yeah.
It's a nice
thank you.
words, because tipo and tipi is for type, but it's also kind of a word for guy. That guy. So it's like both people and types of Turin.
Exactly. Thank you, Alta. Yeah, I was.
we forgot about this.
And then this is one of the latest jobs we did, where we actually were able to make the editorial design, the typeface design, and the printing. So this was for us very good work. We say that this is a kind of edition where you have one side that is not cut yet. Mm-hmm. We say that it's called intonsa in Italian. I don't know the name in English.
It's untrimmed.
Untrimmed. Okay. So this typeface was designed by us specifically for to be printed with polymer plates. So it's a kind of communication between digital design and traditional design. And this is another project that took us forever to print and assemble.
Yeah, it's made with an artist. It's Daniele Catalli. It's an illustrator and an artist. And so they are pop-up books. No, it's not pop-up. It's tunnel books.
Tunnel books
like this, representing Shakespeare tales. This is A Midsummer Night Dream, and this is Romeo and Juliet. So with this project, we took care of the production project, so engineering all the folding, the cutting, and this kind of stuff. We printed in letterpress few parts like the case, the title here, and then inside it's silk screen from
so here just to show you very different approaches and kind of projects. This is another project we'd like to show you. We sent you actually those posters. So this is the craziest thing we ever did. We used we made cast a friend of us kind of pixels but made out of lead, and then we used them to print these two posters in 4 or 5 colors. And we had to make it in 2 different, these are the pixels. So there are different, there are just 2, we can make a type case just made out of 2 boxes, one for the full one and one for the empty one. And then we use them to print those two posters that are representing actually us.
Mm-hmm.
You can, for example, easily understand that this is Nello because of the glasses. You can see the similarity. And this is this is Gute, our French bulldog. He's probably around. This is the flatbed cylinder that we have over there, and
this is
the Vanderkook,
yeah,
and the windmill.
And this was done. The illustration, the pixel art illustration, was done by eBoy.
Yeah, great registration. Actually, that was crazy to obtain. Also because there are some parts that are overlapping. So, for example, this is obtained by printing the gray on top of the. The dark blue is obtained by the gray plus the blue, and so that was actually quite funny to be printed. So then we can move maybe to the last project we are doing together, also with Matilde and Alta, of course. I mean, we didn't tell you before, but Matilde is a graphic designer, but also is the nephew of Aldo Novarese, the granddaughter. Sorry. So that we collaborated with her, and we finally found the original plates used to the original film. To print Alpha Beta. And maybe Matilde, you can say something about it better than me, or Gabriela.
Yeah. Okay, so we, as Davide was saying, we found the original films. So all of the pages are printed in black on a transparent plastic sheet, and so we scanned all of this material after having cleaned and restored it, and this will help us reconstruct all of the pages in digital in a digital file. So
yeah, maybe we didn't explain enough who was Aldo Novarese. I mean, to us is almost natural to speak about him, but he was the last art director of Nebbiolo. I mean, for example, he was the one who designed Stop. Maybe you're familiar with this typeface, or with Eurostile. Eurostile is also very, very important. Maybe we can show some. Yeah, this one. And for us is a key figure of 20th century type design, because he was working a lot in type design, but also in trying to explain typography. So he wrote this book trying to explain which are all the different category of typefaces. So this is the classification he worked on, trying to make people understand how to match different typefaces. So you have here transitional, and you have the decorated and slab serif and sans serif, and then you can understand how to match those with the same category. And then he's saying these are consigliabile, which means recommended, or sconsigliabile, so not recommended to match.
So those are combining different typefaces.
Yeah,
good matches and not recommended matches.
Exactly. And then there is a long story since the very beginning of the concept of letter forms. So starting from hieroglyphics,
Yeah, it really covers the entire history of written language. Hieroglyphs, cuneiform. There's, he talks about wood type in there, even though he was primarily working in hot metal and photoset type during his career.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful. I think the amazing thing is that, frequently in the US and in the Anglo-Saxon world, we divide, the type nerds from the calligraphers. And this really is covers it all. In a really beautiful way. And actually Jim mentioned, you know, the colors and this three-tone, the specific colors, they're very much of the time that this was first published in 1964. And you guys are maintaining that in your reprint. So
yeah. Thank you, Alta. Yeah, actually it's very interesting to us is that it's very didactic, but also he's showing all the typefaces that he was drawing and comparing them with the other one drawn by actually his colleagues. So it's quite unique as a book, and that's why we decided to reprint it and to launch the Kickstarter campaign. We started on the June 29th because it was the centenary of the birth of Aldo Novarese. And together with the films, we also found this old plate. It was an advertising for the book on a magazine, and we're also working in the meanwhile on a movable type letterpress specimen book, book showing the typefaces that he drew. So these are all the lead type composition that we started to create. Yeah.
And I've shared that Kickstarter link for everyone in the chat, so that way you guys can also pre-order and support it and get your copy.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. And we're coming up at about 10 till, so it might be a good time for questions. Would you guys be willing to take some questions before we go?
Yeah, sure.
We'll never stop looking at specimens. That's, you have to pull us away.
And this is another type composition that we did, and it was one of the craziest. We have actually here the form.
So my question is, how much wine did you guys have to drink to compose that?
Sorry, how much?
How much? Quanto vino? Because you're using corks, right?
No. Actually, it's a broomstick.
Ah, okay, that's much better.
But we are also using quite a lot of wine, if that's the case. Yeah. Someone is asking favorite paper. And actually, this is quite difficult to answer, but I mean, it really depends by the project, I would say. So I can't say one favorite. It's depending so much from the
commercial point of view. We work a lot with Federigoni peppers, so we find their catalog quite wide and nice for our projects.
Yeah, we also love to use maybe old stock papers or paper that we find in that we've found in other printers catalog. So maybe start from the paper and then find the right project to print on. Yeah. Some of our projects started like this.
We have some paper we like.
Archive papers, let's say.
Someone's asking about the paper you used for the untrimmed books. Quelli non tagliati. I forgot the title.
Yeah. That was a paper.
Specific paper that the publisher requested, and it's
it's a paper that it's usually used for the etching, and it's called. I'm so bad with names. Annemühle. It's called Annemühle.
Annemühle, yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
We do. Yeah, it's Annemühle. They're available in the US.
Yeah.
Then there was a question to see the die cut archive.
Sorry?
Someone wants to see
the die cut archive. Yeah, die cut archive is here. Very good eye. So we are also die cutting, of course, since it's so simple to switch from a platen press to a die cutting machine. So we mainly produce envelopes and very small boxes for a record, for a slipcase for a record, and yeah, this is an envelope that we do. It's a custom one that that actually we are still using. Yeah, die cuts are made locally here in Turin from a friend of us, and actually some of them you can still read on them that it's written Marchisio on top of it, because together with the typefaces and the sign and the window and a lot of things, we took also the die cut. And so, for example, this envelope that we were showing you before, it's a custom die.
Yeah, but
that was done
this
by,
this one is new, but it's based on an old one that was working anymore. So we redraw it in as a vector file, and then ask this guy to do.
So it is also legacy of die cutting, not only of typesetting.
And do you have those made locally, the die?
Yeah. We were doing that. Yes, we were saying that. Yes, they're done locally here in Torino. But I think that almost every city has his own
envelope for an envelope that for a big box or packaging produce it in.
And then we also have very weird shapes for die cut for the tunnel book that we were showing you before, of course, and those are quite funny to be shown. I can show you. They're over here. No, just so you can see that these are very, very weird die cut. And this is the machine that we use to die.
Yeah, used to be a printing machine, of course.
And this is a Nebbiolo. This is a Nebbiolo one.
It's the only Nebbiolo press we have that is not printing. Just die cut.
And this is Gute. Gute because her name is actually Gutenberg.
Always thank you for sharing the cute pups. That's always welcome here. And actually, I have a question earlier. You guys were talking, we lost you a little bit on the internet, but you said you were talking about why your shop was so clean and the difference between learning from a practitioner printer, like a commercial printer, versus an educator. Do you mind repeating that or talking about that for a minute? Because I really wanted to hear it and we lost you.
Yeah, sure. What we were just saying is that all of us were actually mainly graphic designers. So none of us were a printmaker from the beginning, except for Emanuele. So what we were saying is just that since he was an educator, when he started to teach us how to print, he also, he didn't just started saying, okay, you have to print like that and like that, but also you have to keep everything perfectly clean and because everything in order.
Someone is going after you and then using that materials has to be ready. So it's like having to put head like. So
it was a bit of brainwash, yes, for us, but still. It's very important when you are in a collaborative space where a lot of different printers and designers are working, because you're leaving maybe a key on in a corner, but someone else has to find it maybe the next day. So this is very important to us. I don't know if that clarifies somehow, or if I lost myself in difficult sentences.
No, it was wonderful. You're getting thumbs up, so. Do we have any more? Yeah, we all agree, right? Who likes to go into a shared print shop where you can't find anything, where it's a mess? So we're all in it together. We have to work together to make it happen. Ooh, someone called it craft discipline, which I like. Does anyone else have any questions? We're coming up to the end of our hour. You can type it or you can say it out loud. It's a good time for that. I think we're all silently stunned with what we've seen today.
Yes,
Well,
your work is fantastic.
Thank you.
and Dan, since you spoke up, I had to get a visual reminder, but I found when you were here in 2017 and you dropped off wood type for the museum. So
That's
thank
right.
you. It's so good to see
Big
you.
ampersand.
It's, yep. And there were more cases, I remember. I just needed a visual reminder. I'm so glad you joined us. So I thank you guys so much. That was stunning. We got to see all of you, which was delightful. Thank you so much for giving us a tour today.
Hey, big yay. Thanks for the English.
Yes, yes, thank you for the English.
Tremendous.